All right, and welcome to episode 13 of the Mavericast. Today is Tuesday, January 24th, and today we're going to talk about our initial reactions to Trump's inauguration, recent news, and so on. So joining me today is publisher and host of the Politique podcast, Michael Yorgi.
Hey.
And staff writer, Austin Grant.
What's going on?
Okay, so what we want to do today first is talk about the Maverick piece that we wrote. I think it did a fantastic job of summarizing the weekend. Our own Kyle Morehart wrote the piece and did a lot of the reporting. So if you're curious about our trip to the inauguration, I encourage you to please check it out. It'll be first thing in the link dump. So first, Austin Yorgi, what were your initial reactions to the speech? Did you watch it live?
Yeah, we actually we watched it both together, and yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything, I thought that was breathtaking, but to me it was actually like he got to sit now former President Obama down the rest of the establishment, and then he held a Trump rally, in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the speech was very classic Trump, very populist overtones, as most people are well aware. It was nice, you just said, Yorgi, former President Obama. I like the sound of that.
So, as we said last week, I was in attendance with other members of the Pitt Maverick, and it was quite the 24 hours, I can tell you that much. We drove down at about 6 p.m. after Kyle got out of gender class, and so we got down there that night. I think over the course of the day, we had Domino's Pizza, McDonald's, Sheetz, pretty much any food that you can imagine, we had it. And we stood for 5 hours in line in order to get into the inauguration itself in the mall. But it's an experience that I don't think I'll ever forget.
That's cool. What was the numbers?
We had the most people, the best people. We had the biggest crowds. So my quick reactions from you guys. What did you like? What did you not like? Did you think it was unifying?
Okay, to the people who were like saying like it was, you had people on Twitter that was just like it was divisive, which, I mean, I don't know how it was, considering like, statements he was like, it doesn't matter. I mean, of course I'm generalizing his statement, but it's like pretty much doesn't matter what color your skin is, we all, we bleed the same patriotic blood and whatnot. It's like, he was just trying to rally everyone behind, something common, which was like, we're all from the same country.
Yeah, that speech was far from divisive, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I believe somewhere in his speech, he specifically addressed, the people that didn't vote for him, that weren't supporters of his. He said, "It's okay, I'm fighting for you. We're all going to come together and make America great again."
So I do have a couple of quotes that I'll get into, but just my quick reactions. I think it was a step in the right direction, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But the things that I don't agree with, like protectionist trade policies, and I think that there may have been a little bit too much Bannon that I heard in the speech, and not enough of Trump himself or Kushner or somebody else.
So what did you think was like the Bannon?
Mostly things that were with regard to American nationalism. But I don't think that's necessarily, I mean, we knew Bannon was going to be involved in the speech writing process, but I think we'll see a balancing act between Kushner and Bannon throughout and Reince for that matter, over the next couple of years. So some quotes I want to get into. What truly matters is not which party controls the government, but whether the government is controlled by the people.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I mean, actually considering that, when was the last time like anyone has said something like this before in our country?
Probably like JFK.
Yeah, most likely.
January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again.
That was almost that was like almost Farage.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about Farage in a second. So American carnage, and we assembled here today are issuing a new decree to be heard in every city, in every foreign capital, in every hall of power. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first, America first.
Yeah, and I feel that actually, like, maybe because just how much I've seen people like just critique America first, I feel like that was the one thing that people, well, particularly on one side of the political spectrum, was like, uh-oh, I'm shaking. Yeah. Like that type of thing. But see, it's like that. It's like that. It's like you said, America first. I mean, I'll just take the other quote, we're gonna buy American and we're gonna hire American.
And my favorite, when you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the best moments. And so that crowd size debacle, which, hand size is something else. But honestly, though, I don't think anybody's ever going to beat Obama's record. He had like 1.8 million people in 2009. And I'm just kind of frustrated because like Trump won. He shouldn't be, picking petty fights about the size of his crowd. So I just wanted to move on and get back to governing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean, I think this is just like standard Trump we're all gonna have to like deal with. He just really he's the guy that preaches big victories all the time. Of course, he wants everything to be big.
So also, Barron Trump made a fantastic appearance. He was playing peekaboo with Ivanka's baby son Theodore. I thought it was one of my favorite moments, and he's going to play so much chess.
Yeah, now he's really can play it.
So the protests, my own personal experience, I really didn't see that many protests. But we were likely cleared out before a lot of the protests happened after the inauguration. But the vast majority of the protesters that I saw during and before were mostly peaceful, from what I can see. There were, you got your standard socialists, your standard pink hair protesters. But aside from that, there was nothing really bad that I saw.
Okay.
Yeah, from what I've heard, the whole protesting thing was just blown completely out of proportion.
I felt that too.
I think there were supposed to be protests in other cities. I forget if it was Friday or Saturday. I think there was a protest here in Pittsburgh, or there was supposed to be. It turned out to be a total flop. It wasn't much of anything. And as far as D.C. went, I was watching the news Friday, and when they were covering protesters, they consistently cut back to, I think it was a limousine that got set on fire.
Oh, yeah.
That was like one of few examples of much that actually went on.
And the Starbucks.
Starbucks
actually, yeah.
There were a lot of streams. Right after the inauguration, of just all these streams were online, going right to the protest. So I think it was just more of it was like the thing to everyone to look at.
Yeah.
But all I saw was on the stream was just they ignited one little fire, and then you had all those tweets of people put out fires.
And I don't like that this is sort of the takeaway for so many people. I think there was another publication at Pitt, not saying what it is, who their coverage I really didn't like because it focused on the protests and not on the fact that there is a new leader of the free world. And I hope that it doesn't overshadow the momentous nature of the day.
Oh yeah, it's whatever. I would give the protests on the large scale of the protests a bit more credit if they had better reasons. I just feel like it's a lot of just kicking and screaming and not a lot of coherent arguments. But who was all at the inauguration though? Of course the whole Trump family was. Was there any big names?
Mr. Nigel Farage.
Ooh.
And the bad boys of Brexit were also there, Aaron Banks.
Cool.
Many of them were there too. So I think it's cool that he invited them. I know they had their own ball before, and I know they were in the crowd, probably very close to Trump. So.
Nigel Farage was recently just hired by Fox as a contributor, if you guys hadn't seen.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then I saw today that Tucker Carlson is doubling Megyn Kelly's ratings already.
That's surprising.
I don't know.
Yes, I like the guy.
I was alarmed that I was oh wow, but at the same time, when you think of what's Tucker Carlson doing, it's he's that guy that's Guy Pone's leftist. So of course everyone's gonna tune in and be oh, this guy's gonna rock some heads.
Yeah, I think if you tune into Tucker, you kind of know what you're getting. You're not getting. I think Megyn Kelly was far more news-based, whereas I think Tucker wants to start those fights with people. He wants to bring on college socialists and debate them. I think those are some of the best videos on YouTube where he brings people like that on. So also, did anybody watch the balls on Friday night that Donald and Melania went to?
Oh, I saw the first one.
Is that the Liberty or Freedom Ball?
It was a Freedom Ball.
They danced to Sinatra, and yeah.
It's kind of cool. Him and Pence got to dance.
I saw the Armed Forces one where they all dance with members of the service. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, sweet.
And what did you guys make of the Democrats' boycott? the 50 representatives who skipped the inauguration.
Who cares? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's
This is
they
not
can
a
do-
productive mindset, but you know what? They'll get over it.
yeah. I mean, they
Or
can do
they'll
whatever
just-
they want.
Yeah, or they'll just continue to throw their hissy fit, and I believe they were all from the House, correct?
Yes.
Okay, they can continue to throw their hissy fit, and as far as the Democrats from the House, they can't do anything. The Republican Party owns the House, so I don't see it as overly consequential. I think it's immature. This should be a time where we all come together, but at the same time, I don't think it has much of a lasting consequence.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising too. Like, now he's just pretty much by the standards of the Democratic Party just labeled as a flat-out racist, which is funny because like a year ago we were like, but he was a Democrat.
He's too liberal. That's what I always tell people, that and nobody seems to understand it on the left, but he was ridiculed by Ted Cruz in the Republican primary for being too socially liberal. Repeatedly. The whole New York values incident was with regard to him being too liberal for the
Right.
Republican Party, which I think is fascinating.
Right. I believe we'll get to this a little later, but just going along those lines, with him, withdrawing the United States from the TPP, being praised by Bernie Sanders,
Yeah.
uber leftist, I think that really fits with that.
Yeah, and that's actually a good segue. That we can talk about Trump's first few days in office, what we liked, what we didn't like, and kind of the direction that he's taking. So first and foremost, of course, TPP is dead.
RIP.
And so our reaction from Senator Sanders is, quote, "I'm glad the Trans-Pacific Partnership is dead and gone. Now is the time to develop a new trade policy that helps working families, not just multinational corporations. If President Trump is serious about a new policy to help American workers, then I'm delighted to work with him."
Now it's pretty funny because he says, like you said, not just help multi-million or multinational corporations, which is like, if you're restricting, if you're really putting actually, not letting a lot of leniency for companies to go overseas, I don't know how that helps them. But I mean, I think that's good.
Yeah, I think it's good that the Democrats are willing to look past, party ID, who they think Trump is, and they're willing to work. Granted, Bernie is independent in some respect of the word, but I think it's good that he's willing to work with him, absolutely. And so John McCain's reaction was President Trump's decision to formally withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership is a serious mistake and will have lasting consequences for the American economy and our strategic position in the Asian Pacific region.
See, it's that last part. I think it's like he's purely, I mean, it makes sense coming from this guy, but I'm thinking he's viewing this purely from like a military standpoint, where it's just like, he saw this as a great opportunity to kind of siphon a lot of muscle from China economically and just cripple them in the region.
And that was my question to you, because I know that you support the repeal. Do you feel that China will be emboldened since we've left the deal?
I don't think so. I mean, it's not to say that there won't be any sort of trade deal along the lines, even with Trump, especially in that region. It's just like, I guess to really say on another side, it's like with TPP in the first place, China was angered by the fact that they were ignored on the partnership, and they wanted some form of retaliation for it. So I mean, if anything, it kind of opens the door a bit for more negotiation with them.
And we spoke about this last week on the policy episode, which I'm going to plug. If you're interested in Trump's policies, maybe you're not the most knowledgeable, please listen to that episode. And I think it'd almost be enlightening to people who don't know what Trump's policies are. And what he's going to do, he's meeting with Theresa May on Friday, and they're going to discuss a free trade deal between the U.S. and the U.K. right away, which I love.
Yeah, they're back in the line or
To the
whatever.
front of the line.
And the funniest the funniest thing about that is when Obama said back of the queue, not line.
Q,
Because the important part of the language is because Q is strictly used in the UK to refer to line. It's not used in the US. So it's obvious that he had UK speechwriters do the speech and not American speechwriters, because unless you knew the intrinsic linguistic differences, you wouldn't have said that.
Right.
So it's obvious that somebody from the Remain camp was writing his speech, but I mean, we don't do election interference, right?
Oh.
So, also new news, freezing federal hiring except for military. I know Bush thought about this for 8 years and never did it, but he's done it 2 days in the office, so.
So I think he's taken his previous 100-day plan seriously, where
Yeah.
he's going to look at all unnecessary spending and give that the axe.
So, would you have any other reactions to this? I heard some people say maybe destabilizing to like the National Park Service or something if they can't bring in new people.
Yeah, but like, what's like the employment service of those national parks anyway? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of these like parks aren't doing so well in like as of right now with like their staff and maintenance. I mean, if they're actually affected by this, and that is a real shame, though.
So also, Tillerson is pretty much guaranteed to be confirmed, passed through Senate Foreign Relations, and he had Rubio, Graham, and McCain backing him along the way. Mm-hmm. So, do you guys? I've probably asked a dozen times about Tillerson. Are you okay with it? Not okay with it?
I gotta see him work. I need to see what he says when he's out there talking.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Kerry. I mean, it's not like he's got big shoes to fill. I mean, Kerry opened his mouth all the time and said a lot of crap.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's got. I really hope the best for him.
Yeah, I think I'm curious what swayed people like Rubio and Graham. I know initially they were not fans of Tillerson at all. What changed their minds? What information about him did they learn, or what did they take away from their interviews with him? I feel like the fact that Tillerson has actively promoted ideas and policies that go against what Trump has said might actually have helped him gain popularity with some of the more traditional conservatives and Republicans.
Do you remember what those things were at all?
A few of them. I recall he's not nearly as friendly on Russia as Trump. He doesn't believe Russia's claim to the Ukraine is legitimate.
Oh yeah, he did say that.
Vehemently against that. That's the one that comes to the top of my mind. I recall there's a few others.
One of the articles I plugged for this week was from Foreign Policy, and they sort of suggested that Trump sort of whipped the GOP hawks to kind of get in line and keep up with his agenda.
Oh, another thing with foreign policy, Trump today said that he would not mind conjoint operations with Russia to like coordinate airstrikes to combat ISIS. I was like, whoa!
Yeah, huge step. Yeah.
Oh, it is a huge step. I mean, I was talking to my one friend yesterday. He's a history major here, and I was even asking him, "Can you ask me a point in time, even a point in time, if not the last point, that we coordinated any sort of military operation with Russia?" What was it, World War II?
As soon as the Second World War was over, Cold War, full steam ahead.
Now think the first time ever we'll actually do a conjoined airstrike with them.
Because I can remember at the candidates forum in the fall where Georgie and I debated on behalf of Trump's campaign, one of the points that I made, which when we were talking about relationship with Russia, which I wasn't totally on board with and I'm still not totally on board with, was that it would be the first time that we can think of since the two have been superpowers that we have worked together in a military engagement to help eradicate something from the earth, and I think you know what that is, and that was in Trump's speech, that we will eradicate radical Islamic terror from the face of this earth. Yeah.
I think in the short term, this is a really good strategy if you want to get rid of ISIS and radical Islamic terror. Two of the most powerful countries in the nation working together to take them down is a fantastic strategy. Mm-hmm. But I'm concerned about how long this will last and where we're left after we accomplish our goals there. With, especially in Syria, Russia supporting the Assad regime and the United States backing rebels. Where does that leave us?
That is true. I mean, I just feel like that is just a whole nother discussion, just because there's so many players, like I mean, not only do I have to worry about Syria, but my personal fears worrying about Turkey and the Kurds and such. It's like it is really, I mean, the situation in Syria is really too complex.
And I know you followed it so closely over the time, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. I mean, working with Russia, at the very least, to have some sort of coordination on all sides to defeat ISIS, because, I mean, I'll just say it as just to say that there is no one, or fighting ISIS is completely absurd because everyone's fighting ISIS, and only just to get like a general consensus of like what to do is only gonna help.
So are you of the opinion that, we should set differences aside and work together to get rid of ISIS, and then when the time comes, cross the bridges?
So I think we can use this as a means to help bridge better relations into everything. So I think we can use this as a starting point for Russian relations, and I think we can use this and I think if Russian relations build up from that, we can get them for a lot of things. So I think we can make them in terms of like with China, and I think with Assad. So right now with Assad, although it is going to look like he's going to be the one in power, Russia currently is drafting a new constitution for Syria, and I think it would be in our interest to oversee that and to make sure things go right.
Okay.
Well, I would like to do an entire episode where we just talk about Trump's foreign policy.
Oh, I'd love it.
I would love to do it. I think it's something we should do in the future. We can get people who don't like his foreign policy on. We can talk about it, hash it out.
We can get someone from the college Dems, and then get someone from like the Libertarians, and then just get this broad appeal of foreign policy.
Yeah, I would be happy to mediate it. Absolutely. So, other than that, the big news from today, which I finally, after years and years and years, approval of the Keystone Pipeline and the Dakota Access Pipeline.
Build the pipelines.
Yes.
Now that is interesting. Now I'm not really too informed about the whole thing. Now it seemed to me like the big problem with some of these pipelines was eminent domain for private corporations. Now has this been shown to be true for these pipelines? That eminent domain that companies were given property through eminent domain?
Actually, not that I'm aware of, unless there's a specific case. Yeah.
Okay, because that's what I felt like, or that's what I thought was the concern with. I guess it's, to be specific, the Dakota Access Pipeline. But I wasn't so sure. I mean, I guess my only gripe with the pipelines is, I guess it's just the environmentalist side to me is I do think we, like Trump even said, while we do push for this, we need to make sure that there still is a standard met.
Mm-hmm. And do you think this will anger? I know even in our party, in our club, in the Maverick, there is opposition to Dakota Access. Do you think that he's stepping on a lot of people's toes here? Because I'm not sure.
So that is a thing.
Yeah.
It's I guess that's really like that. That's where it's like the harm with some of these, or not the harm, but it is showing like some problems with some of these policies. Is like, especially what I'm seeing with oil, is that you're making a lot of room, and I understand because it's such a huge thing economically. Like it's only gonna make things explode, financially, not realistically. But what was I getting at? So you got to hold things to a standard with that. It's with the pricing. I'm sorry, it was off there. So like for example, when President Trump said that he was going to get rid of the Clean Water Act, which seems just like. It seemed to me like that was marketed just as an EPA regulation. Well, it turns out that it was of course to help protect streams and rivers and whatnot, but that was primarily to help anglers and hunters. So if something goes wrong there, you are affecting hunting and angling jobs at the expense or for the convenience of jobs for oil. Which he tweeted it before the election, or talking about or after the election, upholding like what Theodore Roosevelt said, and it's quite a middle ground to play to be for both things at the same time.
So I have one statement, a couple of statements actually. One from Trump saying, quote, a lot of jobs, 28,000 jobs, great construction jobs. Mm-hmm. And one from Paul Ryan says, it's about time the projects move forward. Quote, the unfortunate reality is that these important infrastructure projects were used by special interests to advance their radical anti-energy agenda and were therefore needlessly halted by the last administration to the detriment of America's national interest.
Exactly. The one thing too is I think levy is more leverage than a lot of things. Is this is going to help us a lot get rid of our importance on or demand for foreign oil. Like this will hurt OPEC pretty badly.
That they're just so powerful in the region and in the world, and anything that we can do to help curb their power is absolutely important. And lastly, for our news segment today, I want to talk about Peter Thiel, who's considering a run for governor of California, which I absolutely love.
I was completely surprised.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, go for it.
So just to give a quick bio, if you're not familiar, co-founder of PayPal, one of the earliest investors in Facebook, and has been Trump's voice in Silicon Valley and just a backer from the very beginning. I loved his speech at the inauguration. Excuse me, not at the inauguration, at the RNC.
RNC, yeah.
And I'm going to give him the Mavericast's endorsement. I don't know if I'm credited to do that, if I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, you're allowed to
do it. But I'm giving Peter Thiel the Mavericast's endorsement for governor of California.
This is really going to make some heads explode. An openly gay conservative running in California.
An openly gay pro-Trump.
That's the thing, though. It's that he was so for him, and that's something that they could like so use to like campaign against them.
He was literally the only pro-Trump person, like head in Silicon Valley, and I love it. Georgie and I are going to do a little one-on-one talk about our new website, which is live, www.thepittmaverick.com. Georgie, thanks for making this. Thanks. Just please give me any info you have about the websites. I love it.
So I guess well, thank you. I'm actually really flattered, honestly. So the whole site's aim, as I saw it, was I was just looking at, or I guess just to start off, looking previously at what we had before. The one plus side was it was kind of cool that it was like a newspaper in a way where you could, or I don't know, as much as an online newspaper as you could make it, where it was like each online subject. But I figured there was, just with the expansion of the paper and a lot of things that we want to do, I feel like for a matter of convenience, it was just good to renovate it. So I was looking at sites like well, anything. It wasn't even, it was regardless of political affiliation, you know, like Breitbart and Drudge and Huffington Post and all that, to look to see, and even our school's newspaper, to see things that they did and they didn't do.
Yeah.
And you know, I just thought, you know, like why not have I just figured like it was good to have the Mavericast right in the front, just for everyone to kind of hear everything. And I just kind of like play like 50-50, just like, you know, you can see our content, but at the same time you still are given the news, like we're not too pushy. And also I just feel like I'm a man of what I feel are actually decent practices when it comes to this stuff. So the one thing that did irk me is where ads are on sites and how they pop up and what else pops up with you. So I made sure that does not happen at all, because that's freaking ridiculous.
So what, in your view, is the greatest improvement with our new website compared to our old website?
Well, I guess it would be that there is a more controlled area of what you can see. I guess especially on the front page, there's just more organization, and you can clearly see like who wrote it and when, and just get a good feel. I would probably say the front page. I mean, it's the best way to unload all our content, I think.
I think like my first impression was this looks less like a blog and more like an actual news site, you know.
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to go for. Not to, I mean, I guess it was definitely not to make it look like a blog, but my thought process was although I'm not experienced in design and whatnot, it's how to make sure it doesn't look as amateur at all.
Yeah, any website could look amateur. You know, it can be a major publication or it could be a blog. It doesn't matter, absolutely. So also one of my favorite inclusions is the newsletter portion. So we can talk about, you know, how we want the newsletter to function, where we think it can go.
So yeah, our newsletter is on our new front page, and all you need to do is just simply put in your email address to become a subscriber. As of right now, it is aimed to be a weekly newsletter, which will give you top articles or latest articles from us at the Pitt Maverick, as well as if you don't frequent the site a lot, or whatever your situation is, you know, you'll have your articles, and you'll also be given a link to each week's newest episode of the Mavericast.
And I know that not everybody can keep up with social media, not everybody's checking the website every day, so I think a newsletter is so fantastic because it's just right in your inbox. You can click on it if you want, you can ignore it if you want, you can engage the links if you want, and it really leaves a lot up to what the receiver wants to do with it.
And the aim of the newsletter is to be as simplistic as possible, so it's going to be a lot of graphics with headlines for you to go view on your own.
Yeah. So I encourage you, if you're listening on whatever you're listening on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, go to our website and please sign up for the newsletter. I can't encourage you enough. All right, Yorgi, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for your hard work on the website. That was Michael Yorgi, our publisher here at Pitt Maverick. And thank you for listening. We hope that you please like, share, subscribe, follow us on all forms of social media. It really goes a long way to getting us more viewers and more help. And if you're willing, you can support us on Patreon. We'll put a link down below. And we thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week here on the Mavericast.